Hello everyone, and welcome to the 10th round of the Unlimited Racing 2D Championship, Season 4. We're here at Le Mans, the home of French motorsport. Before we hit to qualifying, let's just take a look at the championship standings. Drivers-wise, Leclerc's gap at the top has been cut down to 8 points. This is the closest it's been since race 1. Leclerc, remember, has led the championship every race since race 1. However, he's got, 3 drivers at least trying to take that crown away from him, that second crown. Yeah. Max Verstappen, George Russell and Carlos Sainz. What can Esteban Ocon and Daniel Ricciardo do? I think Lando Norris, though, this year's season not as good as last, but still I think he's having a pretty decent season. Nicking a podium when he can, with Valtteri Bottas, Pierre Gasly and Sergio Perez running off top 10. Giovinazzi a point away from the top 10, with Alex Albon P12, Mick Schumacher P13, Oscar Piastri in his debut season P14, Lance Stroll P15, Callum Ilott P16, with the Ferraris of Nico Hülkenberg and Kevin Magnussen 17th, 18th, Yuki Tsunoda 19th and Mazepin 20th. Constructors wise, it looks like this. Alpine's gap's really close, This is probably the closest that the gap has been, for the last 2-3 seasons, with Alpine's dominance. Alfa Romeo, they're second with Mercedes. They're interlocked with a really close battle with Red Bull. Can Red Bull, show any answers to Mercedes' recent good form? McLaren are 5th, Williams 6th. They're going to be in a battle with Force India, who are 7th. AlphaTauri 8th. A point behind them is Ferrari with Haas in last. Anyways, let's get into the weekend. Into qualifying. Qualifying begins here at Le Mans. A nice sunny day. I wonder if the race will be as sunny. I guess we'll only find out with time. Carlos Sainz at the moment. First. Max Verstappen, should I say now. Got provisional pole. George Russell has managed to claw back some time. It's really close between George Russell and Max Verstappen throughout this whole lap. Can Max Verstappen salvage anything from this qualifying? The Alpines are looking quick, I'm not going to lie. The Alpines are looking very quick around Le Mans. George Russell gets pole position, or does he? It's going to be close. It's going to be close. I think George Russell just about beat Verstappen and Sainz there. Charles Leclerc will be starting on the second row with Pierre Gasly in 5th, Giovinazzi 6th, with the Red Bull boys of Bottas and Ricciardo 7th and 8th, Perez 9th and Norris 10th. Ocon just missing out on top 10 with Oscar Piastri P12, Alex Albon P13 with the AlphaTauris 14th and 15th. That's really good for them. The Williams 16th with the Haas 17th, 18th and Ferraris 19th and 20th. Let's head into this Grand Prix. Russell and Leclerc, the two Alpines starting on the hards. This is going to be interesting. Anyways, lights out and away we go. It looks like Russell, one of the 4 drivers today starting on the hards, has managed to get a good start. He's covered the inside. No, he hasn't. Carlos Sainz, unsurprisingly, takes the lead. He's on the softs, remember. Giovinazzi, though, he's had a really good start. Look at him. Squabbling for P3. But that's just the start that Carlos Sainz and Max Verstappen and the whole of Alpine, the whole of Alfa Romeo, would have wanted. There's Gasly, though, battling with Giovinazzi for that P3. Giovinazzi wins out on Pierre. Don't forget, this is Pierre's home race, so yeah. Little pressure there. Perez down the inside of Pierre Gasly. Perez has had a really good start of the Grand Prix. But there's George Russell and Charles Leclerc slowly falling down. I think because the Alpines were so strong in qualifying. Did they get a little complacent coming into the Grand Prix, starting on the hards? I guess we'll only find out in the next 13 or so laps. This Piastri trying to make a move on George Russell. Doesn't make it stick though. Honestly, the Alphas are beginning to clock. They're beginning to run away from everyone. However, rain is predicted. This has just changed the whole race onto its head. Giovinazzi manages to bully Max Verstappen off the track. However, as you can see, rain is on the horizon. And it's arrived. Rain has arrived. Tsunoda, Mazepin and Ilott, they had enough time to pit. But Giovinazzi now has P2. Carlos Sainz, the race leader. Well, I mean, that was a slight corner cut, but you know, pretend like we never saw anything. Into the pit goes Carlos Sainz. Giovinazzi follows with Max Verstappen. Yeah, everyone's going to follow. If you don't, you're a madman. But now, where are they? George Russell P7, Charles Leclerc P10. Honestly, the Alpines just have to say to themselves, this is when our race starts. Okay, we're at a slight disadvantage, but this is where our race begins. However, there's Pierre Gasly going down the inside of Daniel Ricciardo and making the move stick. What an overtake that was. Very brave, very bold, but they managed to make it stick. Giovinazzi still battling with Max Verstappen. Honestly, kudos to Antonio Giovinazzi. He's managed to stay on the Season 1 World Champion and even get past him a couple of times. He's done it once again. Giovinazzi's driven brilliantly today. However, there's still a long race to go. We're not even halfway through. Charles Leclerc battling for P9 and P10. It's not been the best start of the Grand Prix. George Russell's running P6. However, rain is predicted to stop. It should stop. There, can Ricciardo get Pierre Gasly? It's going to be close. It's definitely going to be close. I guess the good thing about having profit only being gained at the end of the season, every season now, is that battles which started at the start of the season can go until the end of the season, you know? But this French weather is so unpredictable. Just as the rain stops, of course the track is still very damp, still very wet. But more rain is predicted to come over the horizon, and there it is. It's arrived now. Carlos Sainz is driven phenomenally, honestly. George Russell, the man who managed to bag pole position today, currently running P6. It's not been the best of races, but we've seen in the past, especially Season 2. You know, Season 2, Season 3, okay, the car isn't as strong as those seasons, you know, back then. But nevertheless, it's George Russell. He can do a madness, now we know that. We've seen it with our own eyes. Anyways, there's Max Verstappen. He's finally managed to get past Antonio Giovinazzi. These are some really good points for Alfa Romeo, especially as Alpine once again having a really poor race. This constructors fight is open, honestly. Carlos Sainz, though, has just managed to be in a league of his own, honestly. Can he make it 2 race wins in a row, back to back? Daniel Ricciardo, though, he's seen a gap on Pierre Gasly. Can he make the move stick? It's going to be close. Yes, he does. A really good overtake from Daniel Ricciardo. Pierre Gasly's on him, though. Can he get him around the outside? No. He can't. Leclerc and Perez pitting for some more wets. So Leclerc thinks that the track isn't going to dry as quick. That's what Leclerc, Perez and Ocon are thinking. I mean, Leclerc's had a horrible race until now. I guess, you know, it's worth the gamble. Why not? At this current moment of time, I think Max Verstappen will be taking the lead of the championship for the first time since he won the championship back in Season 1. Anyways, everybody's heading into the pits, unsurprisingly. Is there really much point? I'm not quite sure. However, keep your eye on Charles Leclerc, though. Running in P8. He may be able to make up a few positions. Giovinazzi, though, as soon as he's come out of the pits, has managed to make the move on Max Verstappen and has managed to make the move stick. Charles Leclerc managed to gain 2 positions in the pits by undercutting. The next rival for him is his teammate George Russell. But look at the track, how much it's managed to dry. Obviously Sainz, the race leader, is not going to gamble onto the dry tyres now. Some drivers are pitting though. Kevin Magnussen, Mick Schumacher and Nico Hülkenberg being those drivers. Daniel Ricciardo though has come from nowhere, and now he's running P4. He could potentially get some good points here, even a podium. There's Carlos Sainz. He should be entering the pits right now. This should be his final pit stop of the Grand Prix. I'm actually surprised that Charles Leclerc didn't go for the gamble and pit a lap early, you know. But then again, it is a marathon, not a sprint, you know. Can't gamble everything right now. Sainz is on the hards. I think because the gap is so big between Sainz and Verstappen, Alfa Romeo have thought, you know, let's go on the hards. Why not? Even if Max Verstappen does gain, especially in the first few laps, on Carlos Sainz towards the end of the Grand Prix, you know, I'm talking lap 13, lap 14, lap 15. Okay, maybe not lap 13, lap 14, lap 15. Carlos Sainz will have the better tyre condition between himself and his teammate Max Verstappen. Already you can see the gap closing. Okay, maybe Sainz did have a back marker to overtake, but still, that's going to encourage Max Verstappen now that Sainz is in view. Giovinazzi is also on softs. Leclerc's gone on hards. I don't know. Leclerc's just had a really bad weekend, honestly. This, I guess you could say, is a second home Grand Prix for him. See, Monaco being so interlinked with France. But the gap is closing between Carlos Sainz and Max Verstappen. 2 seconds is the gap. Pierre Gasly though, he's managed to come back into the frame. Down the inside, and he gets the move done on Daniel Ricciardo. A really good overtake from Pierre Gasly. Antonio Giovinazzi's next for the Gasman. Surprisingly though, the gap between Max Verstappen and Carlos Sainz is not even closing. Carlos Sainz is on form. He is a man on form. But honestly, this type of form is unseen, unheard of. He's on hards. Max is on softs. And at least for the first, 1-2 laps, you'd think that gap would significantly decrease. Now, this is when the hards, as I said, lap 14, lap 15, this is when the hards really begin to pay off. The pain that you take right at the start gets repaid. Antonio Giovinazzi though, can he take his second podium of the season and of his career? It's going to be tricky because Pierre Gasly, a man who this year has been under the shadow, especially of his teammate Esteban Ocon, taking that maiden Grand Prix victory for himself and the team, when everyone thought Pierre Gasly was going to be the man. However, he can get a podium, and that would be massive for Mercedes, especially in the fight for third place with themselves and Red Bull. Gasly's got one more lap to go. Will he be able to get Antonio Giovinazzi? It's going to be really close, really close, honestly. Gasly's gaining on Giovinazzi, he's gaining. Is it enough though? It's going to come down to the final sector. Anyways, Carlos Sainz takes a second race winner in the season and second race win in a row. What a Grand Prix victory Carlos Sainz has taken. P2, Max Verstappen. And P3 being, who's it going to be? Charles Leclerc's come out from nowhere. It's Antonio Giovinazzi. Pierre Gasly P4. Carlos Sainz P5. Charles Leclerc, sorry, P5. What a Grand Prix that was, honestly. Carlos Sainz with a dominant Grand Prix victory. Took the lead on lap 2, he led the race, sorry. From turn 2, lap 1. Max Verstappen, he's going to be very happy with that P2. Had a really close battle with Antonio Giovinazzi, who had a really close battle with Pierre Gasly, and Charles Leclerc came from nowhere on the hard tyres. I guess the hard tyre was the better tyre to be on, especially for Charles Leclerc. Daniel Ricciardo, P6, George Russell, started P1, finished P7. You know, Alpine, they're struggling of late, but never count them out of this. Sergio Perez, P8, Lando Norris, P9, Valtteri Bottas, P10. Esteban Ocon finishing P11 with Alex Albon, P12, Oscar Piastri, P13, Lance Stroll, Nikita Mazepin, 14th to 15th, Yuki Tsunoda, P16, Mick Schumacher, P17, Callum Ilott, P18, with the 2 Ferraris of Magnussen and Hulkenberg taking the last spots. This is how the championship looks now. Charles Leclerc, that last lap overtake on Daniel Ricciardo really paid off, because now he's a point ahead of Max Verstappen. He still keeps his championship lead, but honestly, it's so close. 1 point is what separates Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen. 3 points is what separates Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, who's P3. George Russell a further 13 points behind as well. It's all open. Anyone in top 4 can take this. Especially Carlos Sainz, he's a man in form right now. Esteban Ocon P5, Daniel Ricciardo P6, Pierre Gasly P7, 2 points ahead of Lando Norris, Valtteri Bottas P8, Giovinazzi P9, Giovinazzi P10. Sergio Perez P11, Alex Albon P12, Mick Schumacher P13, Oscar Piastri P14, Lance Stroll P15, Callum Ilott P16, Nico Hulkenberg P17, Kevin Magnussen P18, Yuki Tsunoda P19, and Nikita Mazepin in last. Constructors wise, you are seeing this. Ladies and gentlemen, you are seeing this. What's it, 10 races gone now. And finally, the run of Alpine dominance, the run of Alpine leading the Constructors' Championship has finally come to an end. It's gone from race 1 season 2 all the way up to now. Honestly, wow. Never thought I'd see the day. Mercedes P3, Red Bull P4, McLaren P5, Force India and Williams on the same amount of points. That's really going to be close. AlphaTauri P8, Haas P9, and 2 points behind them is Ferrari last. Thank you for joining me for this French Grand Prix. What a Grand Prix it was as well. It was a really good race, and I think that's going to be one for the archives, you know. Italian Grand Prix next, followed by Japan, Malaysia, Australia, then finally Brazil. Then season 4 is finished. Wow, how time flies by. Feels like season 1 just started yesterday. Anyways, thank you for being with me. Can't wait to see you in Monza, 10 ball speed. Thank you and goodbye.